Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. A little bit of bite down boxing with myself, R.L. Woodson or Just Wood. Getting into a dope boxing weekend with last night's action. The top rank on ESPN card and on ESPN Plus. I'm not really. So it was an eighth round TKO. The referee stopped in after the fourth knockdown of seasoned veteran, former world champion Ray Beltran, who did not make weight Thursday. Did make weight for the second morning weigh-in per the IBF's rules. And he had to give Commey 20 bands. And, Commey was not at risk of losing his title. And fight-wise, I didn't expect the knockdowns in the first. I didn't think that Commey really started off that sharply or, was looking like a world beater per se. But the two knockdowns came in the first round. And you kind of knew that Beltran was in trouble. And when an older guy, I guess younger guy too, in the case of Alberto Machado, when a fighter is having some problems making weight, you kind of wonder how that could affect the performance on fight night. What is the impact of that? And is that why, Beltran was knocked down twice in the first round? Salute to him for fighting through that and being competitive, and because I was getting ready to watch something on Netflix. Thought I was getting ready to. And then as he worked himself back into the fight and then even hurt Commey and, extended the fight and whatnot, I just didn't know, I didn't know if I was getting ready to see a real war, because he hurt Commey a couple times. And so just wasn't sure what was what. But, Commey, which makes Commey interesting when you look at him moving forward. Like, what really can he do? What really can he be? Yeah, he's got power in both hands, but he's a little reckless. He's kind of easy to hit. He can be hurt. And I didn't realize he was that old. I mean, 32. I believe he's 32 years old is what they said. So, but good to see him having this moment. But I'm not trying to compare Top Rank, DAZN, or ESPN, DAZN, PBC, and all of that. But it's an interesting study, I guess for me, I don't see how some people on YouTube, some channels, and some people on social media, some boxing fans, I just don't see how one can sit here and root for a particular entity over the others when all of them are kind of working towards their own objectives and ends and whatnot. But sometimes we have these intersections, and to see where Commey is now and what he's been doing over the past year and a half or since his fight with Robert Easter Jr., when he arguably could have won that fight. But now we see these guys where they are down the road, and that's just an interesting contrast, And like I said, I'm not really trying to compare the two, or to say who's better or which organization is better and whatnot. But it just is something to consider in how the fighters are handled differently and how things play out. And, I don't know, after Easter Jr.'s last fight against Barthélemy on Showtime, I don't know. It seems like quite often for some different PBC fighters, if you're not in that top 5, that top 3, it just seems like you can get lost in the sauce a little bit. And that's one thing I will give Top Rank some credit, man. The way that they, the scheduling just seems to be that apparatus of their organization just seems to be a little more fighter friendly, and maybe that's the results or the function of an organization that's been around for multiple decades, and they have relationships with all the sites that can put fights on, and they're not reinventing the wheel every time they go to put together an event. So that's one thing I just say. It just seems like they keep their fighters busier, and that's been one of the complaints out there. And I think it's been some validity to it with the PBC in terms of how often we see their major pieces. But it would just be interesting to see. I don't know how it would happen again. Robert Easter Jr. would definitely have to work himself back into contention and warrant a fight, or a rematch and everything. But I wonder where they are now, if those guys were to meet up again, that being IBF champion Commey and Robert Easter Jr., what would that fight look like at this point? And then there was some talks of Easter Jr. even possibly considering moving up to 140 to super lightweight, and after that last performance. But good fight last night. Like to see Commey coming out with a little bit of his personality, dancing in the ring and his celebration, which is also ironic because, I won't even go there. But to see Teofimo Lopez in the crowd and on under the headset and in the ring afterwards, and those guys sharing a moment to take some pictures and kind of set up a meeting between those two, which is kind of like a Final Four, pretty much, for the undisputed fight at lightweight, with the winner possibly taking on the winner of Luke Campbell and Vasily Lomachenko, and Commey and Lopez is going to be a great fight. It's going to be a very solid fight. We'll learn a lot about Lopez and what him and his father have been, pushing and warning us that what's to come. But the one interesting caveat there is that what's Lopez's weight situation. I mean, he's talking about on the show. He mentioned, he'll be working with this nutritionist, for the rest of the year, basically, to try to stick around, to try to be able, or to enhance the possibility of him making the 135-pound limit to contend for the championships at lightweight. So that's a fight within itself, is Lopez's apparent fight with the scale. It would seem, though, with the money that could be involved, the accomplishment, in terms of having a chance to become undisputed, to face a fighter like Lomachenko, you can make that happen. So anyway, man, I'm not gonna go on much more. We have tons of action tonight, whether we're talking about Rhode Island with Andrade and Selecki, or in Houston down at Energy with Charlo and Brandon Adams. I'm going to talk a little bit more on that Brandon Adams matchup. I got to run the lows real quick since I've gotten out to a better start on a Saturday morning with my my real life stuff. So let me go do that. Thanks for tuning in real quick. Little afternoon or morning wood on the weekend. Let me go do that. And like I said, I did want to get a live stream in late morning. I might get that together. I may not. But if not, hey, please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. Check out some of the content that I'm putting together. And, my boxing coverage, entertainment, music, and all of that. So, my wife over here distracted me. Like I always say, man, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. 1.